When I go to these events, I kid you not, I stay in one place. Like I don't talk to
Wow.
people. I'm trying to
Wow.
socialize more.
Yeah, I still didn't make it to the event after the 2 hour
Oh,
drive. Yeah.
within 72 hours, I make a point to action on the items.
If you want to speak to, say, the president of America now, you are 6 connections away.
Oh wow, cases.
Get visa.
I know
So
everything is
beyond
good. They are warm and welcome, but please,
the goal is for you to be out there. Beyond that is all about connections. Welcome to Power Platform Deep Dive. This is a place for honest conversations about building on the Microsoft Power Platform based on real projects and real experience. I'm your host, Kayode Ajayi.
and I'm your host, Annabelle Komose. This platform is for solution architects, Power Platform developers, consultants, or anyone looking to learn and grow in the Power Platform space.
Let's start with some key updates from this past week. We're calling it the Power Platform News Roundup. Now, the first thing I have here is the 2025 Release Wave 2 page has been updated. And this is a page that you want to keep an eye on, especially if you want to know what is coming in the world of the Power Platform. So, what changes are coming to Power Apps, Power Automate, Copilot, and the likes. So, this is a page for you to keep an eye on. It was recently updated. So, yeah, I'll encourage you to go have a look at the page and see what has changed.
Today, I want to cover two recent Dataverse capabilities. Firstly, is the Dataverse Accelerator and the Dataverse Restore Deleted functionality. The first one allows you to play and go in and see features that are in preview mode in Dataverse. So all you need to do is an admin would have to turn this because this is currently only available to admins, so nobody goes into breaking it in production. In the view where you see all your applications, it will show up as one of the applications. You can play it, and when you play it, you can edit and make up customizations. There, you could have further insights to some of the features that Microsoft are soon going to release. You are able to see it, play with it, but it's also advisable that you don't put any of these features in production because they are currently in preview mode. Secondly, we have the feature which allows you restore deleted records in Dataverse. Formerly, when you delete a record in Dataverse, you might have to do like a full environment restore, and that takes time, that is heavy duty, and that can come with some complications. But with this new restore deleted feature, you're able to restore items that were deleted within 30 days. And the good part is the admin gets a designated admin view for them to see it, and not just see it, they can see the metadata of who deleted it and also restore those data.
Wow, those two features, well, I think one is not necessarily a feature, it's like an app for you to, manage
Yes.
some things on your environment. But I'll say those are very, very useful features, which I'm surprised is just coming because I would have expected to already have things like this on the platform because the platform,
Oh,
is so
before,
old by
yeah.
this time. But I think it's
But I
better late
think,
than never. Yeah.
oh, yes. But I think with the one with the environmental restore, the one I
Yeah.
formerly had to depend on was to have an admin do an environmental restore. That's very heavy duty. That's
Yeah,
disruptive
it
and
is.
that's time
Yeah.
sensitive. And the fact
Yeah.
that it could also see like the details of the data and choose and
Yeah.
pick which one to restore. So you don't have
Yeah.
to restore everything. No, you just have
Yeah.
to restore specific rows of data, specific data that you want that was
Yeah.
deleted. I can also give you insights if somebody maliciously deleted something. So you can know who
Yeah.
deleted it and know those details.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's very, very useful.
Yeah,
Is worth,
I'm really happy
giving
for
that
that.
a try. Yeah, it's worth giving it a
Yes.
try and setting it up. Another video has been published on the Microsoft Power Platform YouTube channel, and the video is titled Building Agents with Knowledge Sources. So we're running a series titled Understanding Microsoft Agents, which is like different videos, different lessons about different areas of building agents within the Microsoft stack. So this is a new video that has been published. I think it's very useful. It's going to talk about how you can ground your agents in knowledge and what differentiates the agents we have now from the agents we had some years ago, only a few years ago, is really the knowledge grounding. The fact that rather than prescribing all the text the agent should say, you're just going to direct it to a knowledge source and the agent can answer based on that. So it's very revolutionary. And if you understand how to work with knowledge much better, you get a lot from agents. So that video is a must watch.
Following off the back of that, for Power BI people, we have more juicy news for you. The input text slicer is now generally available. So what that simply means is it was in preview before, so now it's available for everyone. And what this new release is that it lets you search the information in your Power BI dashboard or a Power BI report. So you could search based on like text, you could search based on like, oh, what's the first letter? You're searching based on A. If you put in the letter A, you're able to quickly search. Formerly, if you want to search information there, you would need a drop down to do that. And so if you have a long list of items, you need to select your drop down and scroll till you get to the end. But with this new feature, you don't have to do that. You just have to type it. So once you start typing it, all data related to what you're typing pops up. I think that's actually very good.
Yeah, that's really good. I know the days when I used to do Power BI, and I think that's already becoming a theme on this
Channel.
podcast where
Yes.
every time I've mentioned how I used to do Power BI before. But yeah, I know, we used to have to do filters and all of that. So yeah, that sounds really amazing. Now, one other page that's been updated, and this one has really confused me a lot, and I'm glad that the page is updated. So
Hmm.
this is talking about the Copilot control in Canvas apps. So there is this page on Microsoft Learn that tells you that you can add a Copilot control to a Canvas app. And I remember reading that page and, going to Canvas app and trying to add the control, and I could not find
And it
it.
did not work.
And I've just been confused, like what's really going on. And I saw a couple of videos online where people added the control and used it. But yeah, the control doesn't exist anymore. But I'm glad to see that, there's a note on that page now that says that starting from the 2nd of February 2026, you won't be able to add the Copilot control to a new Canvas app. I'll say even before February, we've not been able to do that. But I'm glad that, it's now officially stated in the
Yes.
documentation, and, there's really no confusion. If you have apps that already have that control, it's going to be supported for a limited time. So you should be moving things over to the actual Copilot chat within Power Apps. And I think the Copilot chats within Power Apps is very amazing and is a consistent user experience to the other Copilots we see on, the rest of the Microsoft ecosystem. Have you worked with the Copilot chat in Power Apps before,
In the Power Apps,
Annabelle?
no, no.
Yeah.
I've actually not
Okay.
worked with that one. But have you
Oh
worked with
yeah.
it? What's your experience with it?
Yeah, it's really amazing. You can build a Copilot agent and you
Okay.
can use that agent within your app. So
App
what
that you built.
happens is it opens a sidebar. We see that sidebar on most of the different applications, like SharePoint now. SharePoint has like
Okay.
you see the Copilot icon. When you click on it, it opens up the sidebar and you can chat with the agent. So we have something like that for Canvas app. But the good thing is that it's flexible. You can design the agent, you can design what happens with the agent, and
Agent.
rather than having your users click buttons to maybe submit data or view
Yes.
data, you can actually have an agent just by the side that can do those things for the users. And I think another feature they have there is you can take an app and
Yes.
there within the menu there's an option that says create an agent. So
Oh.
automatically you can create an agent based on an app you already have. A lot of times when I see features like that, I just feel like it's not going to deliver in the sense that it's probably going to create
Oh,
an agent, but you still need to do some work.
work on it.
But I
Yes.
think
Yes.
I think that's still fine because it could give you like a good starting point when you
Yeah,
want
but
to
I
build
wanted
an
to ask
agent. Yeah.
the Copilot in the app, what would be the primary data source? Can you connect it to external data sources or just data sources within your application?
I know I've done it with data sources within the application, and I
Okay.
wouldn't expect it to be limited.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not going to be limited, so you will be able to use it with other data sources. Now, I've just said that
Mm,
based on my knowledge of how they set up the
no.
technology, but
Oh,
I've not really checked it with other data sources. But so far, I've not seen anything that restricts, the data sources you use for
oh,
such agents. Yeah, that's amazing. So that was the Power Platform News Roundup. And now we're going to talk about our main topic. So, our main topic deep dive. And today we're going to be exploring the topic that's titled How User Groups and Events Actually Help Your Career. I think this is going to be really interesting.
yes. A very good one. A very, very important topic that is close to my heart. But I want to start with UK. How do you choose
Okay.
events with intentionality? How do you know
Mm,
I'm gonna go for this event or I'm not gonna go? How do you
mm.
pick and choose where you want to go instead of you're going everywhere? Because if there's one thing in the Power Platform community is that we're never short of events, be it virtual,
Yeah.
be it physical. There is
Yeah.
always a conference, a meeting, a user group, podcast like this. There's always something. There's always
Yeah.
something trying to gain your attention. How do we make this
Yeah.
choice?
It's a very real question, and I think it's still something that I am developing on, in the sense
Okay.
that there are loads of events, as you've stated. And personally, some of the things I consider is what's the topic of
Mhm.
conversation. So, a lot
Yes.
of events, they do publish agendas, and the agendas includes like who's speaking, what topic is being spoken about. If I see a topic that I'm currently trying to actively learn about, or I see a
Yeah.
topic that is interesting enough for me, I can plan to go for such an event. Obviously, there are constraints like location, for example. So, depending on where the event is, it might be too far. In this past week, I drove all the way from Telford to Bristol to
Oh.
attend an event. It was quite interesting because unfortunately I still didn't make it to the event after the 2 hour
Oh.
drive because I couldn't figure out parking on time. And I was too stressed from the day's work to try to figure it on the fly. So I just ended up visiting a family member in Bristol. So, but location is a real barrier. Obviously, there are online events, but personally, I enjoy physical events than online events. I don't know. Do you have any preference when it comes to either physical or
You
virtual
know
events?
what? I think I would just write off the back of what you said about like checking the agendas and the content. I don't have a preference between physical or online
Okay.
events. What truly matters to me is that what are they going to be discussing and who is going to be like the person talking about it,
Mm,
and does the topic align with my current learning for that season or
yeah.
even the season I'm entering into. So what
Yeah.
typically happens is I go to Manchester user group, and
Okay.
so there are also other online events that I could also watch. But
Yeah.
when I see a topic that is very interesting and I'm like, oh, I really want to hear about this, I don't mind traveling. I could travel very far
Mm,
for it. But in as
mm,
much as like the agenda and the topic really is something that I'm interested in, I don't
yeah.
have a preference per se.
Okay,
I could
yeah,
go
that's
anywhere.
interesting. I think the
Yeah.
reason why I enjoy physical events much more than
Yes.
virtual events is the connection. You know, virtual events,
Oh,
you can't just DM somebody and
meet
say
people.
hi there.
We were
I think that's going to be very
it's
awkward.
funny that you would say that because
Yeah,
even when I go for physical events, I find it so hard to talk to people. I
right.
know. Most people don't believe because like they'll say, "Oh, I'm very extroverted." I'm actually not
I
extroverted.
believe you're very extroverted.
I'm not extroverted. It's because it's a survival mechanism. When I go to these events, I kid you not, I stay in one place. Like I don't talk to
Wow,
people. I'm trying to
wow.
socialize more. And so like I've had people, and that's what another thing. I think that's why I actually like physical events, because I really don't like I like talking to people, but like I'm kind of shy. But most people don't believe it
Mm,
because once you
mm,
know me, I'm like, oh, okay, I cannot be extroverted around this person. I think I'm an ambivert. And so when I go to
mm.
this event, I'm very, very quiet. And somebody walk up
Yeah,
to me, I'm like, hello, how are you? And we introduce ourselves and we start talking. And so I've met
yeah,
some people and I've become friends with some people from the event.
yeah,
And I think
yeah.
now that you said it, I think I like physical events because I tend to shy away from them because I don't like new interactions because like I'm trying to
Yeah,
find my footing. But when
yeah.
people like reach out and they start talking to me, I'm like, oh yes, I found my crowd. So
Mm.
it's just a balance for me. I don't really have the one I prefer
Yeah,
after the
yeah. Well, that's interesting. I think when it comes to starting conversations, I myself am
yeah,
not really, great. But I've learned a lot, especially since coming to the UK, because you can
yes.
literally, the weather is just a very good starting point.
Oh,
It works
oh, okay.
every
You have the
time.
cheat code. Yes, yes, yes.
It
That's
works
good one.
every time because before I don't really talk about the weather and stuff like that, but
Yes.
the weather is just a common ground, and UK weather is such that everyone has
Everybody, they are
opinions,
angry about
everyone
it.
has something to
Oh,
say.
and that's so true. And I think this can also be useful for anybody that's just watching.
Yeah,
Wherever you're watching from, you can look for like what is the common
right.
denominator between you
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
Because in the UK is the weather. Everything
yeah,
Kay said is the truth. I
yeah,
promise you. I would speak with people I don't know if I have to speak with them. And the first thing I talk about is like, so if it's a sunny day, you say,
yeah.
what a lovely day it
Oh,
is. And they say, yes, it's
100%. Yeah.
sunny. So if it's cloudy, be like, oh, such a terrible day. Like
Yeah,
it works like magic. So
yeah,
I think if you are in your own, like anywhere you're watching from, for example, if I was in Nigeria now and I went to an event, what I would first of all talk about, like the traffic here was terrible because
oh,
we're all struggling with
100%.
traffic.
Yeah,
And like
yeah,
if it's on the island, be like the traffic on the Echo Bridge or the traffic, like because
yes.
that's something that
The
it's
common
easy for people to
ground.
just chip in.
Yeah,
That's so
yeah,
okay. That's actually very
yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's really good. And another conversation starter to, especially at community events, is like, what do you do? Let people talk about their work, what their day is like. Do you get
Like
what I mean? So just inquiries into stuff like that. I know that has also helped for me. But yeah, I really enjoy the connections, the conversations, and you get to learn a lot within such a short time, like just learning from other people's experiences, especially once you find a common ground, like you have mentioned. So
yeah,
let me ask you this question, Annabelle. How do you take the output of an event? So, say you attend an event, do you do
yeah,
anything with the knowledge that is being shared? How
yes.
do you make it actionable?
Good. When I finish an event, because sometimes these events, they are technical discussions and there
Yeah,
are discussions that are not technical. Sometimes it could be relational, or it could also be like discussions about elevating your career.
yeah.
Within 72 hours, like within the
Mm,
first 3 days, I make a point of contact to action on the items. For
wow.
example, when I went to the Manchester user group, that was the first time I was going, and it was October last year. I promised myself that within 3 days of going for this event, I am going to write a LinkedIn post
Mm,
with the most important things I learned. And
mm,
it's not just about you picking the important things you learned, it's also actioning on them. Because
mm,
most of these events, we have demos. And so
yeah,
they've come and they've explained. What I like to do is, while the person is demoing, I like to take screenshots. I know that the good thing about this event is they send out the slides from this of the speakers to attendees. And so
yeah.
you could see the configurations they did and you could see some things they are explaining. But I personally like to take my slide of what the person is saying and I go back and I practice it. And the
Mm,
good thing about this, when you practice, you can change, you don't need to do it exactly the way they did it. You can
yeah.
change something, change data type, rename it, make it different, make it your own. If possible,
Mm,
create like a backlog item with acceptance criteria for each item. That take it a step further. Like you could make it a mini project that has a backlog, work item, and acceptance criteria for each of those items. What that even means is practice makes perfect. The more you practice something, the better you become at it. I can still vividly remember what I learned from the October Manchester User Group. And the reason why I remember it is that when I go back, I practiced it. I can't remember the names of the two, but I made a post about, like I said, on LinkedIn and I tagged them. One of them was talking about accessibility. I never really gave accessibility as much thought than when this man broke it down about like the importance and the little mistakes we were making. So what I did was I went back to my applications I have built to see real life some of the mistakes I had made and edit to make it better. And like that, it's like it works like magic. Just practice within 72 hours. I know everything is busy. I know like you are probably enough, but just do it like the first 3 days. And you must not do everything you've learned. So that was an all-day event, and we had over 8 sessions, if I'm not mistaken. But out of those 8 sessions, the top 3 sessions for me was the session on Copilot Studio. There was a session on accessibility, and there was a session about like by Sarah Jones. That was when I met Sarah Jones for the first time. There was
Oh,
a session
okay.
by Sarah Jones on like helping your CV, changing your CV, making yourself more marketable in the Power Platform space. And those
Yeah.
three things I acted on them. So you might go for an event and they say so much. It might just be one thing that you picked. Actioning on it makes it easy for you to remember. What
Oh
about you,
yeah,
Kay?
yeah, when you said 72 hours, I'm like, oh, you're so efficient. How do you
Oh,
do
that's
it?
3 days.
Teach
It's
me.
3 days. Like the first day you get to relax.
But yeah, I think that prioritization bit is the key. And I like to adopt the 72 hours thinking because I know a couple of ones I've attended where they've done something that
Yes.
I really liked. I've just kind of kept a mental model of it. Then later on, when I'm free or when I'm doing something related, then I try to call back that memory. But that's not going to be as effective as doing something within 72 hours. And once I have it in my environment, I have it. I can't forget it because I can always come back to refer back to it. So yeah, that's a really good one. It's something I like to take up. But yeah, 72 hours. I don't know.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like the first 3 days. It's 3 days. It's 3 days. Like it's the first
Three
3 days.
days. Mm.
No, but you might not even like practice
It's
it, or I think it's also good for you to like write out your actions. So you could make out work
right.
items for each thing you learn. So you could carry out the work items within a period of time. Because I think if we just say, "Oh, I'm going to," life is just comes and takes
Yeah,
our time
things
away.
yeah.
So like seeing that you are the expert in physical events, because I don't like them, I like to shy away.
Expert.
But what would you say is a good and effective way to turn like a quick hello to a real life opportunity?
So yeah, turning a quick hello to a real life
Yeah.
opportunity.
Like when we
I
go to these
think,
physical events, how can we
yeah,
really like create good connections
yeah,
more than just like that day?
yeah. I think the first thing about that is being genuine in the
Oh,
sense that if you've come to me with an agenda in mind, I think a lot of people were adults and a lot of people are smart
yes.
enough to identify that, this person is just coming close, maybe because I'm an MVP or maybe because, it feels like I can give him a job and they're trying
Yeah.
to get closer. So, but being genuine is actually trying to like create a connection rather than just a contact. So, how do you do that?
Yes.
Being genuine in terms of you're not meeting the person because of what you want to gain from the person, but you are thinking more in terms of mutual benefit. So, a lot of times people are always thinking of what they can get from a relationship, but they are not necessarily thinking of what they can give. And the
Give.
fact is, everybody, no matter how big the person is, or how important the person is, or how fulfilled the person is, everybody still has things they're chasing. Everybody still
Yeah.
has things that they want, things that are useful for them. It might not look like they need it, but it's still useful for them. So you should think in terms of value. What value can I provide to this person rather than what can I get from this person?
Get.
So, say you are speaking to someone who organizes events, you can walk up to them and say, I see what you're doing. I really respect what you're doing. I would even like to volunteer sometimes if
Oh,
you're available. And that just creates a connection immediately because that's something the person needs. As much as the person is organizing events and all, he can't do
yeah.
everything himself. So he would definitely be ready to take on a volunteer or appreciate the fact that you've offered. And sometimes it's just offering that you need to do, right? Sometimes you offer and they don't necessarily accept it, but the fact that you've offered has actually created, it has given you some points in that sense. It's actually created that notion that you're not just here to take, you're also there to give. So think in terms of value, think in terms of how you can contribute to the person because that's how you build relationships. There are people that were close now, and our conversations really started from me volunteering to speak at their user group. Right. And now,
Okay.
anytime we see, we exchange pleasantries and we're very connected. So that's the first thing, think in terms of value. Then also build on your relationships. Say you've chatted with someone before, when you see the
Yeah.
person the next time, don't just ignore the person. Still go back,
Oh, let's move
continue the
on.
conversation. Even LinkedIn, say you connected on LinkedIn, let it not just stop
Mhm.
at the connection, right? You can still follow up and just ask the person how they are doing. We are all human at the end of the day. Everybody has emotions. So
Yeah.
if you're just genuine and you're actually checking up on people, it's going to go a long way. Then the final one, and this is something that, someone in the community taught me, it was like, take pictures. So when you go for an event, people that, especially people you want to connect with, right? So this is what he said: walk up to them, take pictures with them, then go back and send them the pictures. So say you take the pictures on your phone, or just go back on LinkedIn and say, oh, it was nice connecting with you. Here are the pictures. And if the people that love pictures, they'll download it, they can possibly post it. Because I've spoken at a lot of events, and at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I don't even have any photos because I was on the stage.
Oh,
So sometimes people, even if they're the ones speaking, right, you could take a photo of them while they're speaking, share it with them after, and they will appreciate that, because that's something they couldn't do by
no.
themselves, because obviously they were presenting. So in that sense, you're adding value to them. So yeah, I think with these few points of mine, I
And
hope
they
I've
were
been
good
able
points.
to.
No, no. The points were actually very good. And I never thought about the take photos until you said
Yeah,
it. Because now
yeah,
that you said it, it really makes sense. Most times when the
yeah,
person is the one presenting, they are unable to
yeah,
take photographs of themselves. So you just
yeah,
taking a photo of them is like a good conversation starter also. That's very
yeah.
good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And I have a question for you too. In
Okay.
terms of, because I've seen you, I do see your LinkedIn post, and I see
Mm,
you're contributing more. You're speaking at events. I think I saw one where you were speaking to like more like students in the university. You're speaking at conferences and things like that. Say someone just wants to start doing some of these things, what's the
yes.
easiest way for them to start?
I think one of the easiest way is volunteering.
Okay.
So, and not volunteering, everybody cannot start as a speaker. You
Yeah.
could start volunteering as a person that helps organize the next user group. You could start with a
Right.
study group. So, because most times some people have stage fright. I had stage fright. I still have stage fright till now. So,
Mm,
if I had just started and started speaking on stage, I would not gather the courage needed to embrace that. I actually
mm,
started at the Power Platform Bootcamp Lagos, but I was among the registration team. So what I
right.
did was I helped people register and go into the hall. So after doing that, I was able to see how the whole process goes. So
Yeah.
before, I had no idea the technicalities behind organizing an event. I just
Mm,
thought you would come and it will happen. But because I was part of the registration team, you would see that, oh, there's a registration team, there's a welfare team, there's a technical team behind it. There are different branches that makes the
yeah.
event successful. And so after learning that, I'll be able to say, now I'm done with registration. How best can I move forward? What
Right.
other team can I volunteer in? And so when I'm done volunteering there, I can now say I want to start speaking. So for somebody
Mm,
that is just starting out, I know that speaking at your first event can be very, very daunting. You don't have to
mm,
start there. You could do something simple as you currently have a user group that you're part of. Message them and ask them that you would genuinely love to volunteer and help them. How
yeah.
can you offer help? It can be as simple as managing the WhatsApp group. It can be
Mm,
as simple as them saying, oh, we need someone to come on time to ensure that the screens are set up, the slides are good, the pitch deck, everything is perfect. You could do that. And by even doing that, you are able to connect with more people. And when you
yeah.
connect with more people, you're able to build the confidence of saying, I remember when I went to the last event and I volunteered there, one of the people I was volunteering with later became a speaker. And because that person can do it, I too can do it. And you could also
Yeah.
pick points from there. If somebody you're volunteering with says, oh, you really want to speak? I've been speaking for so long. That's not a problem.
Mm,
You don't need to be scared. Let me tell you how it's done. And they explain it for you, like, oh, yeah, you could do that. Yeah, you could do that.
yeah.
And being backstage, you get to see other speakers speak. You get to see them. People have backup slides. People
Mm,
come up with like backup slides for presentation they are doing. People, If you've never spoken before and trying to speak for the first time, on your first speaking, there's something wrong with the screen and they cannot project your slide. Because you've
Yeah.
not practiced and you don't know
Oh
what to
yeah.
say, you would not be
Yeah.
able to present anything. Be like, please cancel my slot. But when you go for the event and you walk back in and you see somebody that, oh, the projector was not working and he was still able to present, you
Yeah.
realize that, oh, this person put in so much effort in preparing for this event. That is something
Mm,
that you would not learn just sitting down as a user or
mm,
just jumping to become a speaker. So start little, volunteer, create a mini group, teach your friends.
mm,
You could have a group of three friends that are already into Power Platform. Hold like a weekly event or a monthly event with them and just say, why don't we share ideas on some of the things we've learned and post it on LinkedIn? And
mm,
people can also show interest that, oh, I would like to join your group because whatever you guys are talking about seems valuable. So start
mm,
little. It doesn't have to be grand. You don't have to speak at big conferences. Think of new innovative ways in which you can, like Kia said, value.
mm,
It's always about giving value. There's no difference between the speaker and the person that is working back in. There's no difference between the volunteer and the person that is the chief organizer. We
mm.
all want to ensure that we are delivering value.
Wow, that's really loaded. Thank you, thank you
Thank
for that.
you.
Yeah, because what you've said is really, really good, especially because for someone who just wants to start, it looks so scary. Like, do they even know me? How will I get accepted? And there's like there are people that are specialists in teaching people how to actually get accepted for speaking
Yeah.
engagements. But I think that one of the easiest way to get accepted is being involved, being there, as you've said, things like volunteering. And as you've said that, I've just looked back in organizations where I've eventually risen to the top, especially like social organizations where it's like nobody's getting paid, everyone is kind of volunteering. But the ability for me to just be there to add value, to pick up tasks that others don't even want to pick up, just being helpful, that helps people recognize you, that helps people see who you are, it helps people connect with you. And there's this idea that if you want to speak to, say, the president of America now, you are six connections away. And that's crazy. They did some research, some, mathematical models to come to that conclusions. So meaning I'm only six people away to anybody on this planet. That just tells you the value of connections, the value of maintaining relationships. So as much as it seems like, well, the goal is for you to be out there, beyond that is all about connections. And I feel like that's the key message from today's deep dive, right? I think it's
Yes.
all about, creating those genuine connections with
Connection.
people. And the great thing is, the Power Platform community, the very lovely people in the community. You were talking about Sarah. There's so many people in the community that, they do a lot, they give a lot, and it's a very friendly community. It's easy to get in. And as much as you would expect it to be a big community, it's big, when they say is big enough, but it's also small enough
Good
for you
enough
to
to
be
notice you.
recognized.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like that describes the Power Platform community because we go to the same event. A lot of times you see the same people at different events you go, depending on where you go. And over time, you become much more familiar. And the good thing is, opportunities even come. I've heard of so many stories where people have met within a community event and they've just had casual conversations, and the next thing is they're getting interviewed at a company. So if you're someone who you're trying to establish yourself, especially in the Power Platform community or in the Power Platform space, but it even goes beyond the Power Platform. I feel like
Area and ethics fair as well.
every area, yeah, every area has communities. So if
Yes.
you want to become more influential, get involved with those communities and start delivering value, start volunteering, and by so doing, you'll be able to build more influence in the community. So that's really good. I have another question for you, Annabelle.
Okay.
Have you attended any paid events before? Is this something you will consider? What are the things that you would consider for a paid event?
So in the Power Platform sphere, I've not attended a paid event in the Power Platform because most of our events are free.
Yeah,
But I've also attended other events that are paid for career advancement. For example,
right.
where you're having like business conferences or events for career development and you pay for it. So I'm going to just group everything together. The
Yeah.
benefit of attending a paid event is the value you are going to pay for. There is
Mm.
return on investment on it. So there is no point paying for an event if the content that you're going to gain from it, you will
Mm.
not be able to gain any value. And the value does not have to be monetary. So
Mm.
when we talk about value, if I'm paying for an event, it doesn't have to be that I would make money from that. But
Right.
there'll be value realization if that going to that event expands the way I think.
Mm.
That you cannot put a price on that. If
Mm.
going to that event, the discussions that they would have there would help me be of sound mind and increase my productivity. There are
Yeah.
some events where we go to and they talk about maximizing productivity. Those events, by the time you are leaving it, you cannot put on your CV, I am a productivity maximizer. So you cannot make
Yeah.
money from that. But you can
No.
make money indirectly because now with the
Yeah.
work you do and your day-to-day life, you are able to bring out maximum value. There are paid
Mm.
events where career coaches talk to you about like speaking, about networking. You cannot put
Yeah.
a price and a time to say, if I pay for this networking event, I'm going to make money by networking to 73 people. No. But you've learned a important soft skill. And now when you meet people, you are able to make and create genuine connections. So I've gone to some
Mm.
paid events and I've gone to some unpaid events. And one important thing about before I pay for an event is what will be the value realization of this event? How
Yeah.
much value will I realize from it? And this event, am I paying for a knowledge I already have? Because whether
Mm.
we like it or not, because we consume so much content, some things you already know. You don't have to sit down for 60 minutes listening to somebody explaining what you already know that you're not acting on. So I need to first of all ask myself, is there value in this event I'm paying for? Do I know this detail? Or even if it's just a little, do I need somebody to expand my knowledge on the little I know? Is this like a redundant information overflow? Am I just listening to something that I've listened to before? And even far beyond the content there, what kind of people will I meet there? So the kind of people I meet,
Exactly.
they challenge me to be better. Some events you
Yeah.
go, the speakers just make you want to do better. When you listen to the way the speakers speak and like the content of what they're talking about, it makes you realize that, oh, if this person can do this, I can do it also. Like it motivates you, it picks you up from wherever level you are and takes you to a new level.
Yeah.
So thinking about all this before paying for an event is very, very important. The content, the value realization, hope it's not redundant information you are going to get. Even
Hmm.
proximity also. Sometimes paying for an event that's very, very far from you will give you extra.
Yeah.
So before you pay extra money for an event that's far from you, you need to check, is there any other event that is closer to you that will also offer similar value? So before I pay for an event happening in, for example, America, I apart from events in America,
Tokyo.
yeah, Tokyo, that's a good one. Before I pay for a platform event in Tokyo, would I get that same content and that same information in the UK? So
Mm.
all those are important. But I've paid for events. What about UK? Have you paid for events? And what do you think?
Well, I'll just kind of keep it within the Power Platform
Yes.
space. I've not like out of my own pocket paid for an event, but my company has paid for an event for me, and it was amazing, really,
Oh,
really amazing, and I really enjoyed it. And so there were like different tracks, and I was on the RPA track, high power automation track. It was just good, and I specifically chose that track because we were having more customer queries around that areas, and I had like specific questions. So I was really excited to be in a room with other experts, and we literally just talked about some concerns, some queries, some challenges, and it was overall a very, very useful event. So I would have totally been happy to pay for that out of my pocket. So, and it still falls back to things you said in terms of who are the people that are going to be there. Because, yeah, I knew some people who were going to be attending, and from a selfish perspective, I knew, oh well, this is another opportunity to see a friend. Then, but even beyond that, knowing that, technical experts on different topics are going to be there, and you can
Yes,
just literally start conversations and speak to real people with, all their
real insight.
experiences, real insight. Yeah, exactly. So I'm absolutely fine paying for an event at the if once as long as I'm getting the
Fantastic.
value from it. Yeah.
But off the back of that, I want to ask, how do you really gauge a community's health? So, because we have so many communities, and
Mm,
most of these events, that sometimes they now become repeat events that happen all the time. So, what are things
right.
and you look out for when you go for a community and be like, I think I like it here. I might just make this my home. So, what are
Mm.
cues to look out
Okay, so I started attending the Birmingham, user group last
for?
year. I think it was either January or February. I went there and I just felt at home. So, taking words from what you said, I just felt at home. They were lovely people and there was pizza. So I think pizza is one thing. Once there's pizza, that's an extra point. Beyond pizza, the organizers,
Oh, I like how you
the
said
org
beyond the pizza they gave us. Boy, put that
Oh
one first.
yeah, no,
Continue.
no. To be honest, I look forward to the pizza.
Yeah, I look
Maybe,
forward to it
maybe,
too. We have that
maybe
in
that's
Manchester.
maybe that's one of the reasons I love
The
physical
motivation.
events because
Wow.
no one's gonna give you pizza in a virtual event.
Oh wow.
Um,
I think I will take more cue from you and start going to physical events.
And yeah, even the Bristol one that I missed,
Yes.
all I was just thinking of as I was driving is, oh, I don't get pizza. So if you're organizing a physical event
Event. Please
and
make sure
you
pizza
want
is there.
people to feel good about the event, get pizza.
Oh wow. Cases.
Get pizza.
I know
So
everything is
beyond
good and warm and welcome, but pizza. But continue, Kay.
But yeah, beyond the pizza, I think the people, and especially once you start seeing people come back over and over,
Over
right?
again.
It kind of gives you an indication that it's a good place. And you see the growth, like the Birmingham one, it grows. And it's not surprising that it's growing because once you just go there, it's very focused. They have high quality speakers. The environment is just great. And there's pizza. So yeah, I feel like personally those are the things I look at. Then another thing I loved about the Birmingham one was from the first one I attended,
Yes.
I got a lot of value from it.
Yeah.
So I was eager to come back. And I think I even spoke with some of the organizers there too that I would even love to speak. And they were so warm and welcoming that, oh, come on, go ahead. They really
Oh.
encouraged me. And at that point, I maybe I'd spoken on just one event recently at that point. They were very welcoming, even at some points when I was like, I'm not even sure. They were like, no, you can do it, just register. So it was a very welcoming environment, and that's giving them a big space in my calendar. So anytime I see a Birmingham event, I just have it in mind that, oh, that's one I want to attend.
I think apart from everything you've said, something I also like that made me choose the community I joined is that like they were welcoming to newcomers. I think that's what you
Mm,
even said. Because when I went, I told you there are two types of people. There are people that are very social, and there are people like me that will
yeah.
go to one corner to hide. And so me, I went to one corner to hide. People that have been coming before, they reach out to me, they
Yeah.
walked up to me and they're like, "Hello, how are you doing? How is everything?" And they just started talking to me, and I was just like, I can no
Yeah.
longer hide. So I was just relating to everybody, and they were so warm and welcoming. So I think also if you ask questions, I know it's daunting to ask questions. I know it's hard to ask questions, but try and ask questions, like, and see how they respond to your questions. No matter how basic of question,
Right.
how do they
Yeah.
respond to? How do they answer you? It lets you know that oh, okay, okay, they are very, very interactive, and also
Mm.
how does the organizer interact with the people that come? Do they have like a very level playing interaction, or is it like an hierarchy that you have to go through? All these things play out. And also, do we have enough room for accessibility for everybody? Also, the events that if you go for this event and you go 6 times, you should know if there are multiple content for fundamentals, content for
Yeah.
beginner, intermediate, so you know how it is, and know like, oh, maybe this is, or maybe this is not, or maybe this is too technical for me, or can you
Mm,
walk up to somebody and speak to them? Just
yeah.
that just gives you an idea of the atmosphere.
Yeah. I like what you said about variety of content
Yeah.
because I know, I've heard from the Birmingham organizers too, where
Yes.
there is something that they are very conscious about
Yes.
because we have people on different levels,
Exactly.
in the career, in the field, different interests, and there's so many different things. Sometimes they want to talk about dynamics, but how many people even care
No
about
doesn't
dynamics?
matter.
So with community events, there's always that balance, or there's always that attempt to balance things. And once the community have it in mind to keep that balance, have some intermediate, have some advanced, have some beginner
Yeah.
sessions, just bring in the variety basically. I feel that's going to help people feel much more welcome so that they don't just come and they're like, what this guy's saying? I
Yeah.
don't understand anything. And that's how everybody can actually get value.
Yes. Yes. That's true. So I wanted to ask you,
Okay.
what should you publish after an event? So I've gone to an event, I've listened to them speak. I like what they spoke about. What should I publish? What should I not publish? What should I post? And how can I transform what I have learned into something publishable?
Okay, this is where we go on LinkedIn and we're like, I was glad to attend this. Well, I think glad is not even LinkedIn speak. You know LinkedIn speak when you say LinkedIn speak.
Oh wow.
Well, what do you post? If you enjoy the event, say you enjoy
Yes.
the event, give shout outs to the speakers because a lot
Yeah.
of the times they've done this, out of
At work.
their busy schedules, out of and what people don't even realize is the demo you see is the quickest part of it. There's so much work that goes into doing a demo because you have to first think of who the attendees are, what kind of content will fit the attendees. Then you have to create the content. And especially if it's technical content, you're going to have to maybe set up a demo environment, set up your data. There's a whole lot that goes into presenting actually. Give them a shout out, thank them for taking time out to share the knowledge. And sometimes I see a lot of this community events and people speaking, and what they're sharing is
Yes.
something they've 100% come up with themselves, and
Yeah.
they're sharing it because they know it's going to be a solution to the wider community.
Audience.
They've chosen not to monetize it, but they're sharing it freely and they're trying to make everybody's lives easier. Even if you don't want to post for yourself,
Yeah.
post for
Post
them,
to make them
post
know,
for them,
yeah.
and just
Just let them
just
know
let
that
them
like
know.
what they did was very
Yeah,
valuable. And I
yeah,
agree with that 100% because
yeah,
these
yeah,
speakers put in so much time and effort to create like the slides, to even practice before they come, to make sure that they are
yeah,
able to give you maximum value. It's good that like we shout out to them and also practice what they did. Tag them when
yeah,
you practice it. If
yeah.
you are a user of GitHub, post it on your GitHub. Let them see that, oh, this person actually did
Right.
like whatever I am
Yeah,
doing, it really showed value. Someone liked it. Someone is practicing it. How did it change your
yeah,
life? How did it make your work better? I think
yeah,
that's good.
yeah. And give feedback. Do the surveys. Yes, I'm talking to you. Do the surveys.
Okay, you're coming for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
from an
good.
organizer's perspective, those
Yeah,
surveys are really helpful. It helps them plan for future events. It helps them know who to invite next. It helps them know what speakers are actually connecting with the people, what speakers are not connecting with the people. And yeah, just fill the surveys, fill it honestly. It really helps the organizers because I'm sure loads of organizers are going to be dancing, hearing
when
me
you
say
say that,
this now
yes,
because
they're like,
it
yes,
really, really helps.
yes for us, yes, yes, yes. And I see the wisdom in that also because like it helps them know what should they do, what can they do better, how is it. I'm gonna fill out my
Yeah.
surveys now. Thank you for that.
Good, good. I'll just take this last question, and
Okay.
it's for you, Annabelle.
Yeah.
How do you stay consistent in the community long term?
So I think how you stay consistent in a community long term is find a community that you genuinely like.
Mm,
And after finding a community that you genuinely like, be active. So you might not go for all the user group in a year, but promise that I'm going to go for the user group event every quarter. So they might do
Right.
two user group events every quarter, but minimum of one, because I have that goal, like minimum of one every quarter. I must go to a physical user group event. And
Mm.
so we have one in March coming up. I already know I'm going. I've already registered myself. So that way I'm able to keep up a schedule that I follow.
Yeah.
Another way is when you go for this user group event, as Kay has rightfully said that we should connect to people, follow up on those connections. When you
Mm.
follow up on those connections, they can give you updates on the user group event. So even if I did not go for the next one and a friend of mine
Right.
went, she's able to tell me, oh, listen to this person's talk. Look at this slide. I think you would find it very important. I think you find it very insightful.
Yeah.
Also, for me, I value community so much and I speak about it so much because I benefited from it. When you leave a country to another country, you need to also be consistent with your user group. I did not know
Mm.
before.
The benefit of being consistent in community cannot be overemphasized. When you are a member of a community in one city and you move cities, I think it's very important that you find the user group closest to you and continue,
Mm.
because that way you are able to build new community there, you're able to build new connections there, you're able to continue your learning process because learning never ends. I
Yeah.
was a member of the community like in Nigeria and I was not so active. But when I got to the UK, I was like, oh, let me find the community here. I did not even start on time. When I checked
Mm.
around me, I found the Power Platform user group in Manchester and I went there. The good part, the reason why I really love that user group is it was around the period I was looking for my job. And so when I
Right.
went there and I was talking to them, like, I did this interview, I'm still waiting for feedback. Some of the people I met, they were so, so nice. And they were telling me, oh, don't worry, they will get back to you. They don't know me. I don't know why they said they
Mm.
will get back to me. But they were like, they will get back to you. I know you will kill it. I know, like, and I was really having a very low day. And I just went
Yeah.
for like a all day event to learn about Power Platform. But apart from just learning from Power Platform, some of the people I met there were so nice and they
Mm.
really like gingered me up. Like, you will get it. And even if you don't get this one, something better will come. And I left that day
Yeah.
feeling so empowered. And that's one of the reasons why I always advocate for community. And if
Yeah.
maybe I was not consistent, that after moving from Nigeria, I decided to forget about the community in general. I would also not gain that connection I found it. I would also not gain people that was able to encourage me in that job search period. And so I
Yeah.
think being consistent is very valuable to you, very valuable to your career, and make sure your learning is continued because people come to the community event. Some people don't like posting on LinkedIn, so they'll necessarily not post what they've come to teach people. But you being
Right.
there, you've learned it, you've gotten a new knowledge, secured and added to your repository. So you don't need to always be on LinkedIn. And also you build genuine human connection. Because this is also
Exactly.
not just about learning. This is also about creating meaningful connections that you grow with in your career. There are people that you met them in one community and now you've moved to another community, but you already
Yeah.
have that connection. You already have that friend. You already have that person that you can reach out to when you have any issue with any application. My people that I was working with in Nigeria, that community, that Nigeria Power Platform group, I'm able to reach out to some of them. I'm able to speak with some of them. That is the importance of that community. So I think one way we can also be consistent is you switch roles. You can volunteer this time. You can speak this time. If you are always speaking, you don't get to have the full experience. Sometimes be an
Yeah.
attendee, see what
Yeah.
attendees feel. So because if you
Yeah.
sit down as an attendee, even when you're an organizer, you are able to see, oh, this is one way to make the attendees engaged. So if you only
Yeah.
go to your user groups, you would not really know how other user groups are advancing. When you go to other user groups and you feel like, so they play this game to ensure that the attention of the attendees are with us, I would pick that up. Or they did this and I don't like it. I felt like they were discriminating against me. I would make sure we don't do this in our own user group. Switching roles. Sometimes you're an organizer in your own user group. Travel to another new city. Become
Yeah.
an attendee there. Sit down in a place where nobody knows you, see how they are doing things, learn from there. And sometimes you might decide to say, I'm not going to go for a physical one this quarter, I'm going to go for an online one. But ensuring that there's a schedule that you follow, that helps you maintain consistency. And even if the schedule breaks, it doesn't mean that the schedule is broken. It just means you
Mhm.
need to reroute, you need to correct it and continue course. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, that's amazing. And one thing I also got from what you've said is you might not even be there every time.
Yes.
Because I know the last Birmingham one I wanted to be there, but I eventually not making it, and I
Mm,
felt bad. But I know that I'm still going to be in another one anyways, and that's where the value of connections you've mentioned comes. Because if I knew someone who attended it, I could just ask them and say,
ask
"Oh,
them.
how was it?
Yes, that was
What
it.
did you get? All this stuff." So that's something I'm also taking from this section. So that's amazing. It's been a very, very interesting conversation. I
Yeah,
really love
something that we
this
both
topic.
liked.
Yeah, yeah. Great points shared. And if you have comments, if you have good ideas, just put it in the comment section and we'll be able to respond to that. And that's it for this week on the Power Platform Deep Dive. If you found this useful, follow the podcast, share it with people that who is working on the Power Platform or who are interested in learning about the Power Platform. If the podcast platform you're using allows you to give a rating, give us a
Five
rating,
star.
and we really
5 star.
appreciate that.
And also, every link to what we talk about will be in the description. Every new news that we spoke about, the links will be in the description box. If you like, please give us 5 stars. We need 5 star rating. And
Yes, yes,
also, we
yes.
want to hear your dev reality this coming week. Is it something that surprised you? Is it something that you broke or something somebody broke that you had to fix? What are some of the dev
Mm.
realities you experienced this week? Would love to hear from it. Till next week, it's bye from me, Annabelle, and
Bye.
bye bye. Cheers. Gigi.